Well, hello my darlings, and welcome to day 10 of Danie's Designs Craftmas 2017. Today we are going to create a Starlight Topiary using some striped mint, a dowel, and some starter pots that we got from the Dollar Tree. If you'd like to see how we create this project today, please stay tuned. For this project, you will need one 4-inch styrofoam ball. You will need one green foam pot insert. You will need an assortment of these flat backed gems. You will also need some green ones. You will need a small plant starter pot. You will need some red spray paint. You will also need some green acrylic paint. You will need a 12-inch long wooden dowel, and you will need a bow. To see how I created this bow, you can go back to day 9 in our stocksing video, and you will also need some Starlight mints. Of course, you will need your handy dandy tools. Let's get crafting. So the first thing we are going to have to do to prepare our flower pot is to spray paint it with this cherry red is what I used, and to prepare your dowel is to hand paint it with some acrylic green paint. And this is what they're going to look like when you are finished. So now that we have finished or painted the two first pieces that we're going to need for our project, we are going to now take our dowel and we are going to make a rudimentary etching to denote where the center of the bottom of our ball is going to be. Once we have done that, it is now time to start to glue our Starlight mints onto our foam ball. And to do this, all we're going to be doing is placing some hot glue on the bottom of a Starlight mint, of course, that has already been opened and the plastic wrapper thrown away. And if you're using the green and the red, as I'm doing now, the pattern that you're going to be using is completely entirely up to you. Or if you're doing all red or all green, you can do so also. And as you can see, all I'm doing is placing my hot glue on the bottom of each Starlight mint, and I'm placing them in the next place. Now, of course, these are not going to fit 100% snug, and the reason for this is because they're round and not squared, but that is going to be entirely okay because your foam ball is white, and the white is going to be obscured, or rather I should say blended with the white of those mints. So I'm going to continue this process until this entire ball is filled, and then I'll be back to tell you what our next step is. So here is our completed mint topiary, and as you can see, to fill in some spaces, all I did to break those mints in half was to cut them in half using my wire cutters. And if you have any spaces that you need to fill in, please feel free to use that process to do so. So we are now going to place that topiary ball on the side, and we are going to prepare our flower pot to hold it. Now, the first thing you are going to want to do, because this starter pot is very light, is you are going to need to place marbles in it. Now, what I did, I know I showed you guys the flat backed ones that are actually sitting on my table to the left, as you can see, but not wanting to open them because I already had some marbles open, I attempted to use these round marbles, which, my darlings, please don't do that. Learn from my mistakes. it is not going to give you a secure fit. So even though you see that I have placed them in, what I'm going to do later is take those out, because as you can see, I can't get that foam to sit securely in that space. So I'm going to take those out, and I'm actually going to put my flat ones in. Now, when I do put those flat ones in, I am going to do what I just did here, which was place some hot glue on the bottom of that foam to have it sit with the flat back glass beads. And then what I'm going to do is, having made a hole in my foam with my dowel, I am going to place my dowel in that hole, and then I'm going to hold it for a few seconds to ensure that one, that glue is going to engage with that dowel, and two, to ensure that that dowel is sitting straight up and that hot glue and that styrofoam is going to dry around it. And so I am going to continue holding, and then I'll be back to tell you what our next step is. So now that our dowel and our foam has been dried into that flower pot, it is now time to attach our styrofoam ball to the top of that dowel. And to do so, we're just going to go ahead and find the hole that we created earlier. And if for some reason that hole was obscured by any of your mints, please feel free to go in and just create another one in the space that is there. Now what I'm doing here is I am placing some hot glue into that hole, and then I'm going to force that styrofoam ball down and onto that dowel. Now, as you can see, it's a little off kilter here for me because those mints are going to make that styrofoam ball heavy. But what I had to do was press that ball down and make a deeper hole than I originally had planned to. And once I have done that, I'm going to set it to dry to be secure, and then I'll be back to tell you what our next step is. So now that our topiary has dried up on our dowel, we are now going to decorate our topiary. The first thing I have done is I took some of those flat backed glass beads from the Dollar Tree, and I placed them at the base of our topiary so that topiary looks like it is growing out of glass. And now I'm going to affix our bow to our topiary. Again, if you like to see how we created this bow, please go back to day number 9 where I explained and I showed how I made this bow. Now, I took some hot glue, I placed it in the middle of that bow, and now using the piece of wire that I strung through the middle of that bow, I am now securing that bow to that dowel by twisting that wire maybe around 3 or 4 or 5 times, enough so that bow will not fall. And then I am going to take my wire cutters and I'm going to cut off any excess of that wire that is there. Once I have done that, I am going to fluff my bows, kind of pull them around the back to give our topiary that 3D effect. And once I have done that, I am going to add yet another layer or another dimension to enhance our topiary even more. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a few arms off of this pick that I got from at home, and then I'm going to take those arms and simply stick them at the base of our topiary. So I'm going to continue this process, cutting off a few more arms. I'm going to clean up our topiary, make sure there are no glue fronds anywhere, and then I will be back to show you what our finished project looks like. Well, here you have them, my darlings. Our Starlight topiaries that we created to add a whimsical touch to our holiday decor this holiday season. Aren't they lovely? I think my favorite part of this project will have to be the sprays that we use to take apart and place at the base of these topiaries. They just give this the added touch that we needed to send our topiaries all the way over to the whimsical side. And so, my darlings, if you have liked this project, enjoyed this project, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, as well as leave me a comment in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. And I want to take this time for thanking you, my Danie's darlings, my subscribers, and those of you who may not yet be Danie's darlings, for stopping by on day 10 of Danie's Designs Craftmas 2017. I am so glad that you are here. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow on day 11. And until then, I say to you guys, please, please, please take care of yourselves for me. Know that I love you all. Bye now.